Hello, welcome back to channel 93.5 FM, and we're here to intrude on your day. Make sure you tune in here now before we have to tune out, because this is going to be a great episode. Alright, so, first off, we got to cover the basic news. Now,
Of course.
I'm going to try to keep this as quick as possible, because, the news is bad, and nothing interesting ever happens. But that's not going to stop us from informing you, so you can be educated on local events. So it says here that recently there has been a bit of an issue with the local tomato population along with the corn population. Now, this is probably in response to last week's prairie fires, which have been causing mass devastation in the region to farms and nature preservation areas, but I don't think it's going to be a permanent damage problem, because once we get our shipping problems fixed, we should have fresh food coming right back in Hayward Valley. So, kind of a big event, but, you know, if you don't need tomatoes, you don't need tomatoes, and nothing is bad about that.
Of course.
Another news story is the mayor of the town has invested another 10% of the town's yearly budget into the History Museum after some problems were found with the foundation, and they also wanted to expand it to include a history section about local businesses.
Why
So,
am I not surprised?
yes, of course. Now, of course, this 10% will be taking away from our education budget of the year, our infrastructure budget of the year, and the other mysterious 25% of the budget, which we don't know actually what it goes to for some reason. We don't get to see that.
That feels like it should be information that's known.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be public information, but it's not. But that's
Has
not
anyone asked about it ever?
Well, I don't think so.
Okay, well, I'm gonna be the one to ask right now. Where is that 25% going?
Well, I don't have the answers.
I'm throwing it out there. If anyone has the answer,
Please let us
know. Yeah,
I'm sure it's being put to use somewhere.
somewhere.
Don't
is
know
it
where.
good? Is it bad? No one will know, I guess.
I mean, in this town, I'm not surprised if it goes somewhere crazy.
Honestly, nothing normal ever happens around here, and if normal things do happen, it's boring.
That is a very true statement. But besides those news stories today, not much else is happening this entire week. So, just do what you normally do in your lives. Nothing is going to be that different. However, there has been a bit of a conundrum with the weather recently, because after last week's pure weather that was just grand, this week is looking like it's going to be stormy, cloudy, gloomy, you name it. Any of those delightful adjectives to describe a gray day full of rain is what
fun.
this next week is going to look like. Now, this is expected since, I mean, really, we haven't had any of those spring showers yet, and it's been a few months since spring has started, so I wouldn't be surprised if we get a lot of rain to make up for that rain we haven't been getting recently. Also, hopefully that'll help with the prairie fires,
Hopefully.
since we shouldn't be having those this time of year, but
We shouldn't. Ideally, we shouldn't be having those ever, but you
yeah,
know.
it makes sense if they would happen in the summer, like late summer or something, but not
course.
now. So besides the poor weather, with temperatures ranging from 55 degrees to 70 degrees, and pressure and wind speeds being whatever they normally are, again, I'm not an expert on the weather, I'm just here telling it to you, because the TV signals are so terrible that I turned on the TV today, and it was 4 hours before I heard anything, so...
Gotta love living in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. So, that's the weather for today. Now it's on to, I think a little bit of listener interaction.
Oh boy, so it is.
That's going to be exciting.
So, today we only have one wonderful bit of mail.
One bit of mail, you say?
One bit of mail.
Can I put a guess on who it is?
No. Yes, you can. Who do you think it is?
It's got to be our good friend, Jerry Larry Lee.
You know it. All right.
For any listeners who somehow don't know who this wonderful man is, he writes in every week with a great story, question, you name it. Really keeps the show lively, and gotta say, one of our biggest fans.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, Jerry says, "Greetings, y'all. Pleased to acquaint you again, lads. Oh boy, I thought it would be a wondrous idea to share to you a story from my past week. I went to Mexico with my good friend Jimmy Carter these past few days.
Whoa.
Whoa. A real nice guy. However, despite the pleasantries throughout the trip, an issue arose towards the end. See, Jimmy is the type to not enjoy paying for his drinks. And unfortunately, I did not know this going into the trip. Oh no.
Oh, Jerry, what have you done?
This led to me paying for around 60 drinks, most of which I did not consume. However, even though I am now almost $600 poorer, and that's just from the drinks, Jerry, are you okay?
Jerry, please, what have you done?
That is not an issue because I have a new job at an animal shelter out of town. That's good.
Oh, that's fun.
But this isn't your average animal shelter.
Oh,
no.
great.
Because it's run by a Norwegian heavy metal group.
Oh, whoa, really?
You know it. Gotta say, their music is real great. Charles, I know you're listening. I think that you should put some of their stuff on.
Yeah, Charles.
Yeah, Charles.
Yeah, put some better stuff on.
Don't look at us like that.
No,
You know
stop
this.
it. You know what we're saying.
Anyway, I think you should put some of their stuff on. It could really improve this radio station. And speaking of the station, I have a suggestion for that Tatwin Kidda, spelled out, letter by letter, segment of yours. I'd really like to hear you gentlemen talk about theme parks this time. As always, keep up the good work. I thought the drinks were free. Jerry Larry Lee.
Ooh, Jerry.
Oh, boy.
I've got to say, that story... I'm sorry we laughed so much. Like, I'm really sorry. That's painful. One, good for you for going on vacation with Jimmy Carter.
And also good for you for your new job. Congratulations.
Yeah,
However...
don't go on vacation with Jimmy again.
Also, please be careful when you are
At a bar.
making financial purchases, just in general.
It's dangerous.
Yeah.
We would hate for you to not be writing into us anymore for whatever reason it may be relating to
course.
financial problems. So please, be careful. But hey, that sounds like a pretty entertaining job.
It does. I have many questions.
Oh, same.
I don't know what any of them are, but I have them.
I have a question. Maybe you could answer this next time, Jerry. Does this band perform locally? Like, because here
if so.
Because here at the station, we have a special room dedicated to live performances, and we have time slots in the week scheduled for live performances. They don't happen that often, but if your band would be interested in doing a live performance over the radio, I'm sure I could bully Charles into doing it for you.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. We're doing it, Charles. Don't give me that look.
He's giving us the
He's
look
giving
of
us
all
the
time
look,
right
yeah.
now.
Yeah, mm-hmm. He hates it when we do this.
We're not going to stop. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Jerry, I've got to say, that's interesting. And also, I love the
Also-
topic of theme parks.
Indeed. Before we move on to that, though, last time, when you were writing in to discuss about the story time, you said that the stories that were told here were unbelievable.
Yeah, I have to admit.
And then you write in with such a wonderful story like this. Now, I'm not saying that you're lying. I'm just saying this is a situation.
Yeah, it puts into perspective. See, you never believe stories until something very similar happens to you, right?
Of course.
Crazy things happen to people all the time, especially around these parts.
Of course.
I mean, every day it's either extremely boring or like...
Or everything
or
happens.
everything happens.
It's like when you miss a day of school and then you come back the next day and you're like, what happened? And literally everything happened and you're like, okay, but every other day nothing ever happens.
No, it's just like... Yeah, it's just like that. That's why I'm glad that I'm not in school anymore.
Same.
But, disregarding schooling and other things, I appreciate the topic, but before we get on to Tatwin Kidda, we have a little bit of story time. Now...
Oh boy, here we go again.
Now, necessarily, not that much interesting things have gone on in Hayward Valley this past week, nor to me, because I've been staying kind of local this last week. Nothing too crazy, but just a pretty standard week for me. But there have been a few things. I have more follow-up on the vegetable story.
Oh, very fun.
So, good news for all of you people who are worried about my garden, because I have heard some talk about the anger towards these children, but they're all fine, I guess. They've kind of learned their lesson, or however it goes. And my garden is starting to finally recover. I've seen some new sprouts growing. I don't think this year's personal harvest for me is going to be ruined.
Well, that's good.
At least I'll be able to make, like, a few baskets of fine vegetables that I could do at, like, the fair this fall. Speaking of the fair this fall, obviously it's quite a while away, but I suggest that if you are in the area in September, late September, early October, you come to the fair. There's a lot of vegetables. There's some of those dinky carnival rides that are
Gotta love those.
they're probably going to kill you, but it'll be okay.
They're so unstable, but don't worry. I haven't died on one yet, so you'll probably be fine.
Yeah, that's their slogan, actually. They're really great.
Yep.
So, such a thing as the garden is something I cherish a lot. So, making sure that it's stable and safe is important to me. So I went to the store again, and after last week's, fiasco of just not having things at the store, I was a bit nervous that, they weren't going to have what I was looking for, but they did. They had the fertilizer I was looking to buy, or so I thought.
Oh.
So I bought the fertilizer, took it home, and I opened the bag, and I started pouring it on my garden, and I realized, wait a second, this isn't fertilizer, this is dog food.
Okay.
No, you see,
I have a question.
I was just as confused, because I'm like, excuse me, what? And, like, how did I not notice this? Like, I thought, I was having, like, a moment. I was like, man, how stupid am I?
I would also be having
yeah,
a moment.
I thought I was an idiot, but it turns out that I'm actually not as dumb as I sound. Well, that's debatable, but regardless of that, this actually kind of makes sense. Mainly because when I bought the bag, this dog food bag particularly had a picture of a garden on the front of it, because I suppose it's supposed to show, like, we use fresh plants or whatever. So there was a picture of a garden on the front of it. It was in the aisle with the fertilizer, and all the dog food is, but it was right on the border between the two, so I thought it kind of just went over another row when it actually didn't. And then when you open the bag, it's not like the little, like, pebbles or, like, it's brown, and it kind of looks like dirt. It looks a little different, but if you look at it, like, quickly, it kind of looks like dirt, because there's supposed to be, like, vegetable and, like, vitamins in there, and for whatever reason it's brown, because they probably put some chemicals in that stuff.
Yeah.
But regardless of the chemicals and dangers to the dogs, which I think is terrible, please use better dog food for your dogs. But my garden was not so happy, because I put it all on there, and I said, well, I can't really get it off now, so now I have all this dog food in my garden. So I come back the next day, and we can all expect what would have happened. Some dogs had broken into my yard and gotten into the dog food that was in the garden. Now, this is to be expected, clearly.
Of course, yeah.
Well, I mean, the neighbor next door has, like, 3 dogs, and the one behind has, like, 2, I think. So, like...
So that must have been
yeah.
very fun for you to deal with.
Well, good thing they didn't completely tear up the garden, because I got up there pretty quickly, and they're pretty small dogs, but, they kind of just were in the yard. They kind of made a mess of, like, the fence. They pooped a lot. It wasn't great. I'm not the kind of person that would like to clean that sort of thing up, so it was kind of painful for me to have to be like, okay, time to clean up this mess.
Did you tell the neighbors what
I
happened?
did tell the neighbors, but inevitably the dog food came up. And they said, well, if you're so stupid as to put dog food in your garden, then you pretty much deserve having dogs trample your garden.
Nice.
Yeah, it doesn't seem nice, but they're my neighbors, and I can't do anything about them, so...
That's a fair point.
This is why I wasn't completely upset when the kids broke into the neighbor's house, but,
Of course.
I don't recommend you do that. Please do not break into anyone's house. But, like, I was less angry than I would have been if it was someone else. That's all I'm gonna say about it.
Oh boy, your neighbors are gonna be coming after you after this one.
Yeah, they will be, but I can talk about it here and make some money off of it, so haha.
Fair enough.
I win.
You win the competition.
Yeah.
Very
so,
clearly.
anyway, I cleared that up. I got some actual fertilizer. I thought maybe it'd be a good idea to, like, counteract the smell of the dog food with, like, floral scent. So I went back to the store. I bought some, like, fresh air spray, whatever you put in your house. And I'm like, I'm just going to put this on the garden. I'm just going to, like, garden the fresh.
Garden the fresh.
I'm trying to get rid of the smell. And it, at least to me, it worked. to me it was fine. It smelled a little bit like flowers, but like it was pretty. It wasn't very powerful at all. So I go inside, I put it away. I'm like, it's a nice day. The garden finally doesn't smell like dog food, so maybe I can just sit out there and read the newspaper, which is something I like to do every once in a while if it's a nice day. And this last week it was pretty nice all week, so it wasn't that hard to do. So I go outside, I sit down, and I start realizing that all these bees are showing up in the garden. Because the smell of like the cleanser, the floral cleanser, has pulled all these bees in from the surrounding houses and from the neighborhood. So now my garden, it's not that many bees, but there's like a good 30 bees.
That's an amount. Of
Yeah,
bees.
like it's not that many. Like if you were far away, you couldn't tell. But like there were a lot of bees, and I was sitting in the garden with the chair because I have a little stone circle in the middle of the garden with like a chair and a table where like sometimes I drink coffee in the morning. Well, if I'm in the mood for coffee, which is like once a year, the rest of the year I can't stomach it, but sometimes there are days where I need it. So I'm out there reading the newspaper, and all these bees start showing up, and I'm trapped in a garden with 30 bees.
That is a sentence.
It is, but there's no way I can escape unharmed. That's kind of what I thought. So I'm like, okay, there's only one thing I can do. I have to just run for it, right? I'm gonna...
You could... Go ahead.
So what I got the newspaper. I thought, I'm going to distract the bees with the newspaper. So I threw the newspaper to the right. I ran to the left. That's the right direction. You can't see it. I'm pointing the wrong way. Regardless of that. So I threw it to the left. I ran to the right. I don't remember specifically. All I remember is that I ran away very quickly from the bees. But unfortunately... running quickly through a garden full of bees is destined to end in a few bee stings. Because when you're running into a bunch of bees, they will get mad at you.
Why? Oh.
So I got stung twice on my arm, which was not terrible, and then I got one on my cheek, which wasn't great. But I'm not allergic, so after 2 days it wasn't a problem.
Are you alright now?
Now it's a little sore, but you can't see anything, so it's fine. But please, if you're ever in your garden, you're surrounded by a bunch of bees, don't try to distract them and then run away. I recommend the technique of...
calmly walk out of the garden
Yes.
as to not agitate the bees, preferably.
And as someone who's kind of terrified of bees, doing that is difficult, but it's much
probably
easier.
safer.
It's much safer and less painful than booking it out of there, hoping not to get stung by the bees, which are never going to get pissed off by the fact that you just ran by at the speed of sound.
Of course.
So...
and fun fact, bees can probably outrun people a lot of the time.
Yeah, bees, they're fast. They're a menace. They're good. But
bees are, as a collective, a menace.
Yeah, I appreciate what bees do, but I hate them at the same time. So
I vibe with bees as long as they're not wasps. Wasps can go die.
Okay.
I hate wasps,
Wasps
so much.
are
I
the
vibe with
worst.
bees, though.
Wasps
Vibes?
are just bad.
Bees? I'm okay. Bees are good.
I think we should take wasps and just
What purpose do wasps even have?
to make bees look bad.
They make bees look better.
If you don't know the difference, they make them look bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hey, if you know anything about wasps, please send in a letter.
Give us some epic wasp facts. Whoa, why is that's hard to say.
Wasp facts.
Give us some wasp facts for the
Woo.
next episode.
Yeah, please do that. All right. So, with story time concluding in another wonderful way, it's
Man,
time.
you have such an interesting life.
I don't think it's interesting to get stung by. I make bad decisions.
Things happen a lot.
They do. It's all my fault, but
I
sometimes it's my fault.
I wake up, I do this, that's it.
Hey, maybe sometime you'll have a good story.
Maybe.
Promise.
We'll see.
Promise me. If you have a good story, you got to tell it to us.
All right.
All right. So, I guess that's story time. Pretty conclusive story time right there. But as story times go, not the most interesting, but certainly eventful.
Definitely.
I think it's probably time for another episode of Tatwin Kidda.
Oh boy. It's time.
It's time. Now, I don't know if you
apologize,
had...
I'm sleep deprived today.
Yeah, it's been a busy week.
Yep.
But, alright, I don't know if you had any prior plans for Tatwin Kidda, but regardless of not if you did or didn't, thanks to Jerry Larry Lee's wonderful suggestion. I guess we'll be talking about theme parks
Of
today.
course.
Thank you, Jerry. We always appreciate your contributions. But I think theme parks are pretty cool. I haven't been to a theme park in a little while. And there aren't that many around here, that's for sure, unless you go one of those janky carnivals that we actually talked about, the janky carnivals.
About those.
But yeah, those, I don't think those count, you know. Theme parks are like permanent places.
They count, I feel like they count as like, they definitely count as like the rides, but they don't count as like an actual theme park.
Like they're rides, but they're not theme park. Because a theme park is theme, right? That's the whole thing. Otherwise, it's just a park with a bunch of janky, dangerous rides. But if it's a theme park, it's themed around something.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
I have a feeling that that's how that works.
Maybe, but
Judging
maybe
by
it's,
the name.
Yeah, but then I'm thinking like theme parks like Six Flags. Do they have themes?
Themed around being a theme park.
But the word, you just created an infinite loop.
Correct.
Of definition. That's horrible.
I win.
Yeah, alright, well.
Okay. Anyway.
Theme parks, well, on the topic of Six Flags, I actually haven't been to a Six Flags before.
I haven't either.
I've
gone to many water parks, but I haven't really gone to many theme parks that I can remember. I have a bad memory. Even if things are eventful, a lot of the times they'll just kind of leave.
I've been to a few water parks, some kind of like an hour away, nothing like too big or fancy, but they're okay. I'm not a huge fan. I think I'm a better fan of like, I'm not a huge roller coaster person. Some roller coasters I like, but I think I'm more of like a gimmicky ride, like a ride that has like a gimmick to it, like one of those like 3D game, like those 3D rides with like game aspect built in. Those are
fun.
Those are fun, or like, you know, the ones where it's like it's a story, but like it's not just like slow moving. Like there's something's happening.
There's some action.
There's a little bit of action.
There's some tension. There's some drama.
Yeah, it's a story. It's not just like, and now we're flying in the air over the city of London. Send in a letter if you know what ride I'm talking about. All you Disney fans out there. Gotta say, Disney. I think it's my favorite theme park.
I've been to various Disney parks. I don't remember because I was very small. I was like below the age of 10. I know that I've gone. I have a balloon from when I was 1.
Well, they actually recently opened a new Disney park a few years ago. It's like a zoo but better, I heard.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like Animal Kingdom or something. They got Magic Kingdom. They have Epcot, MGM Studios, and now they got Animal Kingdom. So that's exciting.
Very much so.
I heard you can actually like go on ride like into like a big open space with the animals, and there's like no fences or anything. They're just there.
That's fun.
It seems
kind of scary.
It does seem
fun.
scary, but it seems like a lot of fun. I would want to try it.
It's like a safari, except Disney.
Yeah, it's a Disney safari. And unlike the Jungle Cruise, these are real life animals.
Wow.
I guess it was kind of like Disney's dream, right? Like that's what the Jungle Cruise like. He wanted real animals, and they couldn't do that for obvious reasons. But they finally figured out how to do it.
Whoa,
so
only took an amount of time.
It only took like a few decades,
I don't know how long things have been since they happened.
Yeah.
It took time.
It did.
Yeah.
But yeah, Disney's great. I recommend going. I think everyone's got to go at least once.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a bucket list thing for most people.
Mm-hmm.
But I think local theme parks, they're way more hit or miss.
Yeah.
But you can...
They're either the best or the worst.
Yeah, like
There's no
local
in
theme
between.
parks can be really fun, and you can be like, yeah, like I've done the rides, like the theming is great, and like I know it well. And once you get to know a place, like it can be a lot more fun.
Yeah.
But a lot of places are like janky. That ride is gonna kill someone at some point.
Yeah. Fun story. Mini story time for me.
Oh, wow.
Super eventful.
Exciting.
It's not really that much of a story.
Oh, let's hear it.
It's something. Once at the local fair, you know the janky Ferris wheel that they bring back every year, and they never, ever change it?
That Ferris wheel has caused at least a few nightmares. I think it's the same one they've been using since I was a kid.
Seriously.
Yeah.
They need to
I don't
fix
think they've
that.
ever replaced that.
They should. Fun times. One time I was on that with one of my friends, and we were just sitting there, vibing, doing the normal things that you do on a Ferris wheel, aka sitting. Because, what else are you supposed to do?
The concept of a Ferris wheel is actually kind of strange. Like, you sit and go in a circle.
You sit and you spin, but you don't, rotate all the way, but you still go. It's so weird.
It is strange.
Anyway, so we were at, the very top of the Ferris wheel. It was horrifying, and something happened. I don't know if it was on the ride or just, on, our car, because, we moved slightly, and it turned, a good amount.
That looks like
I don't know numbers.
You can't see this.
I'm doing a hand gesture.
You can't see the hand gesture. I'm going to say it's a good 45 degrees from, normal.
That's, a bit of an exaggeration. Maybe a bit less than that, but still, enough to, have it almost fall over. It, not fall over, but you know that the safety on those things are awful. If one of those tips over, you are going to fall out of the Ferris wheel entirely.
Yeah, because, some Ferris wheels have, the roofs on top.
Yeah.
This one doesn't.
Yep, it's just open, it's rusty, it makes a lot of noise.
There's no seatbelts.
No seatbelts. There's just, that bar, but we all know that that's not going to do anything.
And this bar doesn't even hold down, you just, lower it.
You could raise it at any time, and nothing is stopping you.
Yeah. There's no pressure
horrifying,
holding it down.
But yeah, we almost fell. It rocked a lot. It was scary. We just kind of didn't move for the rest of the ride. Yeah, that concludes my mini story time.
Well, once I went to, when I was younger, I went to a Ferris wheel, a park that had, a Ferris wheel-like thing, but it was, it's like a Ferris wheel, but, on steroids.
Oh, boy.
So it was, this big structure, and it had 3 arms, and each arm had, a Ferris wheel on it.
That sounds
and the entire thing would kind of rotate a bit, too. So they would, lower one side, and the other 2 sides would be up there spinning, and then they would, raise that side, lower another one, and unload that one, and the other 2. So you'd had a lot more time up in the air. But the issue was, so we were up in there, me and some other of my friends, we were up there, and we were, there's, you have 2 cycles up there, you're at first position, second, and then third is when you get brought back down. So we were in second position, we were having a blast, it was fun, you were really high up, you're, over 100 feet in the air.
That is horrible.
Because not only is it a Ferris wheel, but it's up on these big metal things.
I know what you're
so
talking
you're
about.
up here. Then the power at the park goes out.
Oh no.
So the power at the park went out. So we were stuck up there. It stopped spinning. Luckily, it didn't fall because there's pressure in there to keep that from happening. So we're up here, and we had heard on the news earlier that day that there was thunderstorms coming.
Oh no.
And we could, we were high up enough where, in the distance you could see the clouds kind of coming. So, we're okay, maybe we have, an hour, right? There's no way it'll be fine. So, half an hour passes. We're already halfway to those storms getting here.
Oh,
They're
boy.
getting close. The power of the park is still down. They got, part of the park back up, but, the part that we were in was still down. So, this was a problem for many reasons. But I think eventually what they did was they got, a truck to come in. And they were you know how they jumpstart a car by putting the spark things in there? They got a big truck that had one of those for this ride, and they would do that, and every time they did it, the arm would jerk down 10 feet.
God.
And they had to keep doing that over and over again to get the arm down in time. And it was scary because you would move a lot.
That is awful.
Because the hydraulics weren't running smoothly because they were only getting pulses of energy through. They weren't getting the constant amount through. Things were creaking, shaking, it was scary, you could hear the thunder.
That is...
It was close.
Horrible.
We got down, and then 10 minutes after, it started pouring rain and lightning, and we just left.
Whoa. I have no words, that...
Yeah.
That's an experience for sure.
So, yeah, I would never go on another one of those rides ever again. But
I would if there was no chance of a power outage.
Well, I mean, that was a while back, so,
Yeah.
Now I'm sure they have, battery systems.
I would hope.
Or, generators or something to, kind of allow them to, unload if something bad happens. But it was a scary experience, and I don't like those rides as much anymore.
Yeah,
And it's
I
kind
can
of
imagine how
it's
that
kind
would
of
change
rubbed
that.
off onto regular Ferris wheels for me as well. And Ferris wheels are the staple of theme parks, so for me, kind of a lot of theme parks are just tainted by this
Yeah.
experience.
It's when you think theme park, the main
Yeah.
things are just roller coaster, Ferris wheel. That's
And I haven't had
things.
any horrible roller coaster experiences, thank goodness. Those are much more
I
dangerous.
actually haven't been on many roller coasters, which is surprisingly surprising.
Yeah, but
But yeah.
Yeah, that's theme parks.
On the topic, before we change.
We've only got a little bit of time left here, so.
Oh no, pressure.
But
haunted houses. What are your thoughts on haunted houses?
Ooh, that's a classic theme park thing. I've been to a few janky ones. I haven't been to any real professional ones yet, but I've always wanted to. I wouldn't want to do it by myself, but if I went with
I would have to do haunted houses with friends.
If I went with some friends, I think it would be really fun to kind of like. I would want to do like a specific theme too. I think like
I've done one where it was like an escape room.
Ooh.
There was like it wasn't an escape room. It was more of like. It wasn't an escape room at all, actually. I don't know why I said that, but it was like there was this part at the end where it was basically just like they give you a laser gun, and there's actors throughout the entire like part of the haunted house, and they have like a thing on their chest. And because laser tag, and you go through and you basically just like pew pew and it was one of the most fun haunted houses that
sounds
I've ever
really
been to.
fun. Like combining haunted houses with laser tag is a genius idea.
It's so fun. I felt so cool, and also like a nerd.
Yeah, I
felt cool.
I would want to do like a specific theme, like maybe like because a lot of them are like, oh, the werewolf room, the vampire room, the zombie place. It's like, ooh, the mummy, and it's like I want like an all vampire one, or like an all werewolf one, or like an all zombie. I want like extra all like in depth theming with it, and like personally,
I do like the concept of the escape room ones also.
Yeah, those sound like fun.
I would love to do those. I love escape rooms so much. I've only done a couple, but they're
unfortunately
amazing.
There aren't any really around here.
There aren't.
So.
But when I have gone to them, it was kind of far, but it was worth it because they're so fun.
Yeah, exciting. I think I'm a bigger fan of like moody scariness that like the atmosphere is scaring me, so like you get that tension.
Tension
compared
is
to
so
like,
much better than just like sudden jump scares, like all in your face, jump scares.
I'd be okay with like one or two jump scares, but I don't want a haunted house. They have to be well timed. Yeah, I don't want a haunted house that's just like constant only jump scares, because like sure it's gonna be scary, but like it's not gonna be fun.
Psychological horror haunted house.
Yeah, it's just like it slowly just gets to you. So if you know any places that have those sort of haunted houses, write in. We're gonna have a lot of people writing in, or maybe no one.
I hope we have a lot of people writing in.
Yeah, I want to know more about this stuff.
If you feel inclined to, and stuff, feel free.
Yeah, feel
we
free to
would
write
really
in.
appreciate it.
And with that, we're getting pretty close to time, and Charles giving us the look, so I think he's looking forward to getting back to his programming. So
all right.
It'll be another week until we get to talk to you guys again, but it's been a great show. So I guess thank you all for listening. And that's it. See ya.
See ya.